Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, I'm going to be showing you the new best way to play Zoroark. You see, Zoroark has been a thing ever since it came out. Zoroark has been, since the moment it was released, one of the very best Pokemon cards that we have. And we've seen it played with basically everything. It's been really big with Lycanroc. It's been really good with Buzzwole. It's been really good with Garbodor. We saw it winning an international championship with Gardevoir of all things. That was one a lot of us did not see coming. But over in Japan, in the expanded format, and that's what we do need to mention here, this is very much an expanded format deck, we now have a new best way to play Zoroark. So, what do we have? And what we have is Zoroark with Raticate. I know, right? Now, we're not going to spend too much time on Zoroark because it's been talked about, let's colloquially say a few times before. It, for 2 energy, does 120 damage if you've got a full bench. Well, it does 20 damage for each Pokemon you've got out, which is 120 with a full bench. But let's not go forgetting that Skyfield is a thing, in which case you can have 9 Pokemon out and actually be doing 180 damage if you have a full bench. That's, that's pretty gosh darn good. Then we've got the ability Trade, which allows you to discard a card from your hand and draw 2 cards. Okay. So where does Raticate come in? And basically, Raticate solves the problem. The problem is this. Zoroark cannot one-hit KO Tag Team GXs. If you come against something like Blacephalon, you're all like, oh, one-hit KO. And to be fair, Mimikyu and Gengar will actually be hit for weakness, so will be KO'd. But everything else, you're just not getting a one-hit KO. Something like Reshiram and Charizard, you're doing 180 max, they're getting an easy one-hit KO. And okay, fine, you're 2-hit KOing for 3 prizes, and they're 1-hit KOing for 2. But firstly, you're giving them a chance to heal. Secondly, they're taking 4 prizes in 2 turns. You're taking 3, you're losing the prize trade. And that is the big problem with Zoroark. You're not one-hit KOing Tag Team GXs. Well, in comes Raticate. Free colorless energy Super Fang. Put damage counters on the defending Pokemon until its remaining HP is 10. Oh. Well, that sounds pretty good. So what you do now is you play something like, let's say for argument's sake, Hypnotoxic Laser, which poisons your opponent, and on a coin flip puts them to sleep, but that's irrelevant for this particular deck. And all of a sudden, you get a guaranteed one-hit KO on literally anything. Absolutely anything gets one-hit KO'd here. And that's what you do. It's still a Zoroark deck. Your main Pokemon is still Zoroark. You are still going to be trading multiple times every turn. You are still going to be using Riotous Beating at every opportunity. The end of the day, right, Raticate's a 60 HP Pokemon. That's kind of rubbish. But if you're against a Tag Team GX, and you will be a lot in the expanded format, out comes Raticate and gets a KO. Because you see, the other thing we've got that we haven't had before is triple acceleration energy. Zoroark runs on double colorless, always has done, and we've still got that in expanded, so we're good. But the thing is, Zoroark needs more than 4 energy. Now, to be fair, in expanded you could play special charge, but there's no real downside of playing extra triple acceleration energy. You're still playing all 4 double colorless, except you've actually swapped it to 2 double colorless, 3 triple acceleration. But you could, if you wanted, play 4. You've just now got extra energy above what you were playing, and now they will pay for Raticate as well. It does fall off at the end of your turn, but like I've said, you're just playing extra energy, so the extra energy only lasting for a turn, I really don't see as a particularly big problem. Now, the other Pokemon we need to have a quick look at, we have actually got Rattata here, and I don't usually shout out the pre-evolutions, but the Rattata from Evolutions, when you play it from your hand onto your bench, you discard all Pokemon tools attached to your opponent's active. So it's tool removal only on the active, but it's still a really nice bonus. And we got Execute. And Execute is absolutely huge. Execute has got propagation that lets you put it from your discard pile into your hand. So you play 2 here, so all of a sudden trade is just draw 2 cards, because you pick up the Execute using propagation and immediately discard it, assuming there's no ability lock like Garbodor, of course. If a Garbodor's out, then yeah, you won't be able to do this. And because you're playing 2, you've also got something like Ultra Ball, which is just search for any Pokemon. That's pretty gosh darned over the top fantastic. We then obviously have a Ditto Prism Star, because we're playing a bunch of Stage 1 decks, or Stage 1 Pokemon. You need Ditto in there. A couple of Shaman for a little bit of extra speed. It's a very fast Pokemon, helps you get rolling. And a couple of Tapu Lele to search out supporters and get you that little bit of extra speed. It's a very, very fun deck indeed. Now, in terms of the energy, the list I'm showing you's got 4 triple acceleration, 3 double colorless. You could swap that round. You could add a 4th double colorless and just leave it at 8 energy. The reason why we need the 4 triple acceleration is because you got 60 HP Raticate. You need to get the energy as soon as you possibly can so that you're attacking before it gets KO'd. The other huge advantage, of course, here is that you're trading multiple times every turn. So drawing one of your 4 per deck triple acceleration energy is nowhere near as difficult because you're trading multiple times every turn. Now, in terms of supporter cards here, we're playing a bunch of different supporters. And we're playing a bunch of one-offs. And we can get away with this for a couple of reasons. One is that you've got Trade with Zoroark. One is that you've got Versus Seeker to recover them so you can play one, but then use it multiple times. And we're also playing Battle Compressor here. It's really good for getting your Execute in the discard pile nice and early. But it's also really nice for discarding supporters so that you can grab them back with Versus Seeker. So we've got 2 Professor Elm's Lecture. Searches out your basic Pokemon, but it actually searches out your Raticate as well, which is kind of fantastic. We got a copy of N for early game draw power, late game disruption. Your opponent takes a big lead and them down to a hand of 1 or 2. We've got Colress here that says you need to shuffle your hand into your deck, but then you draw 1 card for each of your bench Pokemon. And 1 card for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And with Skyfield out, this could be phenomenal. We got 1 copy of Faber that can take special energy or tools, whack them straight into the Lost Zone. That's kind of cool. Or indeed a Stadium in play. We've got 1 copy of Guzma as our gusting of choice, only playing 1 because of the Versus Seeker. 1 copy of Ace Roller to try and make sure that we can pick up and heal our Zoroark, which is quite nice. 1 copy of Pokemon Ranger, which, and notice, it's a weird one, but it's a good one to play as a one-of. You remove all effects of attacks on each player and his or her Pokemon. So something like Seismitoad that would be trainer locking you. Ha! It's not anymore. Although I suppose Seismitoad is more properly referred to as item lock. Used to be trainer lock, now it's item lock. And then we got 1 copy of Guzma and Hala. Now, it lets you search for a stadium, which is quite nice given that you've got Skyfield. But then, if you discard a couple of cards from your hand, you also get to search for a Pokemon tool and a special energy, and especially the special energy here is pretty great. Now, we have got some Pokemon tools. We've got 2 copies of Floatstone to give free retreat to whatever might be in the active, and a copy of Choice Band such that Zoroark can do a little bit of extra damage. We got 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher to get some of your Pokemon back, 1 copy of Field Blower to get rid of tools, bearing in mind you've also got Rattata and Faber, and also Stadiums, 1 copy of Enhanced Hammer to get rid of Special Energy, bearing in mind you've also got Faber that will do this. Now, you've got 2 copies of Hypnotoxic Laser like I said, but we've also got a copy of Shrine of Punishment. Shrine of Punishment puts 1 damage counter on each Pokemon EX and GX between turns, so if you don't have a Hypnotoxic Laser, you can do this to drop a damage counter on a tag team between turns. After attacking with Raticate, it's just a third card that gets you the guaranteed 1-hit KO. We've then got 1 copy of Battle Compressor, and our A-Spec of choice is Computer Search, so that we can find the perfect card at the perfect time. This deck loses if we've got Raticate out, but no Hypnotoxic Laser, for instance. So this is pretty important. Now, the one big appendix to this video is that Japan still has Puzzle of Time, and we do not have Puzzle of Time in our format. We've had it banned, Japan's still allowed to play it. So you need to swap those cards out, but remember when Puzzle of Time got banned and everyone stopped playing Zoroark? Exactly. Maybe you put in a special charge, or you put in some more Pokemon recovery, or some more consistency cards. It's slightly annoying that we're losing it, but the deck as a whole is as it's always been with Zoroark. Use trade to draw cards, smash with Riotous Beating, bring in other Pokemon for stated purpose. In this case, the other Pokemon is Raticate, and the stated purpose is KOing Tag Team GXs in a single hit. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. A very good deck that is doing very, very well, and one that you really, really should be considering having a bit of a play with. Yes, it is an expanded deck. Okay. But that doesn't make it any less amazingly good, and you should definitely consider having a play with it. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I think about the deck. That's how the deck works. But this would be a rather nice time to tell me what you think about this deck. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.